The final match of the USL Championship weekend brings us to Leesburg, Virginia. Loudoun United hosting Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Today's pregame show presented by Segra, joined by Ricky Lopez, Espen, Michael Watchering, and our entire crew. Happy to have you on board here this evening. It's two teams that are trending in opposite directions. Pittsburgh has risen to number 4 behind 4 consecutive matches without a loss. Conversely, Loudoun has dropped 5 in a row, their longest stretch in a year, and have fallen from 4th in the standings down to number 11 in the Eastern Conference standings. Can they get back on track last night? A key role player for that to change the script will be Jeremy Garay. He's our player to watch, presented by Betfred.
And he's such a special player for Ryan Martin. He's going to sit between the lines and try to get the ball in the half turn, ask all sorts of questions of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and that back line. So if you're Ryan Martin, get him confident early and often. It's going to be a very good day for the home side here today.
For Pittsburgh, they are without the conference's leading goal scorer in Albert Dikwa, and it will be Edward Kizza that will have to fill in that role up top.
And it's a big challenge. He's so dynamic, the ability to come to feet, but also can spin in behind. The movement in and around that 18-yard box, it's what makes him so dynamic. So if you're Bob Lilly, get him with the service that he wants. He needs to be active. He needs to be confident, asking questions of that goalkeeper of Loudoun United here today.
Pittsburgh has dominated this series. Tonight's the 12th meeting. Pittsburgh has 10 wins in the first 11. Can Loudoun get back on track? Or does Pittsburgh continue its recent string of dominance? Find out when we return.
Business today is fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. Segra is here to help you get what's next with our best-in-class connectivity, cybersecurity, cloud, and collaboration solutions. Whatever your business dreams, we have the network and services to get you there. Segra, giving your business the freedom to grow today. Segra is a proud sponsor of the Loudoun United Football Club.
Welcome back to the pregame show presented by Segra. Loudoun United looking to break a 5-match losing skid, taking on a Pittsburgh team that is unbeaten in its last 7 in all competitions. As we take a look at the starting 11 for Ryan Martin's group, he's made 6 changes to this team.
And it's going to push Jeremy Garay a bit higher underneath Williamson and Zani. So Rocha Armanakis, how quickly can they get on the ball and get comfortable? You have Alan McCarr on the left-hand side. Santos join the attack as they see fit. So if you're Lehman, Washington, Sargis, that balance, you can't get caught too high. You want to stay compact and keep everything in front of you. This home side starting 11 for Ryan Martin, very talented.
On the other side for Pittsburgh, Coach Bob Lilly is needed to make 4 changes from that U.S. Open Cup win over Columbus on Wednesday.
And it's going to be interesting to see if there's a bit of a hangover there. But again, you know Bob Lilly, he's going to get his side going. It all comes down to the rotation of the middle 3. Danny Griffin, Etsu, and Forbes. The ability to give support system to Blackstock and Kizza. Kizza's going to stay high. Blackstock's going to have the ability to come underneath them. And then Osuna, Farrell, Dos Santos. The ability to pick passes out and join that middle third is going to be very key to Bob Lilly's side here today.
Today's Keys to the Game are brought to you by Country Buick GMC of Leesburg. What do you have for us, Ricky?
And you see for Loudoun, talking to Ryan Martin, said, look, the Riverhounds want to play direct, so dealing with second balls are going to be extremely important. That middle three, if they can do their double down on the defensive half, they're going to have a very good day. But then for the Riverhounds, be disruptive. Bob Lilly said, look, you give Loudoun the time and space to pick up their head, especially in that final third. They can get on a groove, they can be confident, they can have a lot of combination play. So how do you slow things down? How do you be compact and frustrate this team at their home stadium?
Do the trends continue? Pittsburgh's been great over the last month. Loudoun scuffling over the last 36 days since their last victory. What gives here today? An emotional win for Pittsburgh in front of a record crowd on Wednesday over Columbus. Loudoun looking for its first victory since April 23rd. Pittsburgh in the yellow, Loudoun in the red here at Segra Field to wrap up Week 12 of the USL Championship. The whistle blows, and here we go from Segra Field. Pittsburgh and Loudoun squaring off for the 12th time. So let's see how this match plays out. This is a very interesting matchup just because Loudoun started off the season so well. When they last won, they were 5 points out of first place. And now it is Pittsburgh knocking on the door first. Today has to step back and clear that out. And you just wonder for Pittsburgh, you played so many matches with the US Open Cup. Does it eventually start to affect you? Obviously, the changes that they've had to make, no Dequa in the lineup today. But Bob Lilly said the biggest key for them, as much as they appreciate the success in the US Open Cup, continue to get 3 points in the league.
And it's really interesting. He also mentioned that probably the players love it because they don't have to train as much. It's obviously the games, and you ask any former player walking over the white lines on game days, no better feeling. So again, massive key for Bob Lilly's side is trying to just stay high up the field, trying to force turnovers in their attacking half, but again, have that balance so you don't get caught in transition moments.
Bob Lilly was concerned of Loudoun's ability to score, said that at the beginning of the year, they were scoring goals that teams would hope to score at the end of the season. There's certainly some talent and ability for Loudoun to be able to score. 8 of the team's 12 goals this season have come in the first half. They've been a quick strike group. Kizza is called for the foul. The pressure of Pittsburgh affecting this Loudoun group.
Looking at the movement in the middle of the field for Loudoun United, Rocha, Armanakis, and Garay getting in these spots right here to pull out a center back. And then you have the willing runners on the front line. You just see how Pittsburgh is setting up defensively. You have Etu as a single pivot on the ball right now. So if you're Loudoun United, Tommy Williamson, you can drop off his shoulder, make him make a decision. Watch out.
Armanakis trying to get there, cannot do so. Nearly a costly turnover for Pittsburgh. Biasi sends it forward. Space on that left side for Williamson. The former Riverhound slices through one defender, can't get through a second, but it will be a corner for Loudoun.
All about the rotation, changing the point of attack here for Loudoun United. Medcar comes in that half pocket, and then it's Williamson that makes this darting run, that loops outside, forcing the hand of Ordonez to step off his line. He does extremely well to negate a ball into a dangerous area.
Medcar takes it quickly. Now chips it in, takes a deflection before it gets cleared away. Santos. Excellent defending by Blackstock. Biasi. As he takes Taken off of his boot by Rocha, but Pittsburgh starting to build forward.
And just creating overloads for Pittsburgh Riverhounds between Biasi and DC Harmon on that far side. They stay high and wide and put a lot of pressure on opposing outside backs to make a decision. Do you stay into the interior, stay compact with your back line?
Etu is looking for Kiza in the middle. Santos with a throw. We're in the 5th minute of play, final game of the weekend. Pittsburgh chasing that top group, and everybody above them won this weekend. There's a giveaway. Both sides giving the ball away at times. What kind of challenge do you think it is for a Pittsburgh team with all the success that they've had in US Open Cup, playing all those matches without training over that time frame, emotional in front of 6,000 plus fans, to now have to travel and play here at Segra Field and focus on this task at hand?
Yeah, it's always interesting. And you know, Bob Lilly, the ability to manage players and get the best out of them. You talk about the relationship and the rotation that he has between players. Now Vertico gets a little bit of a knock, so it's a next man up mentality. And again, for players that don't really see the field as much as they would like, especially in matches like the Open Cup, what a brilliant opportunity to look him up, look at Bob Lilly in the face after this match and say, look, I deserve to be in that 18 or 11 once the Open Cup comes, and obviously for USL play. You mentioned the ability to try to catch that top group. Again, about the reaction from Loudoun United, you lose last time out 2-0. So what is this going to look like for the home side? Both of the managers, when we talk to them, Michael, saying we respect them, we know the talent that's on the other side of the field, so you're expecting a quality match of football here.
One thing Bob Lilly said about Loudoun is Loudoun has shown that they can win, and teams don't typically just lose that edge and lose that ability. Wants to make sure that Loudoun doesn't get that groove back here tonight. A foul whistled and a free kick for Loudoun.
And due to travel issues, whether it's game congestion as well for Loudoun United, Ryan Martin said, look, we've had a week to train for this side. We know what Bob Lilly wants to do in terms of his rotation, how they're going to press us, how they're going to drop off. And you already see how patient Loudoun is at the ball circulation, how comfortable they are playing out of the back.
Well, all told, it's a young group for Loudoun, but not as young as they have been in years past. The oldest player in the starting 11, a couple 24-year-olds out there. Everybody else in that 20 to 24-year-old range. Eighth minute. Most of the action has been played in the middle of the yard so far. Loudoun has controlled the majority of the possession, which you might expect. Good interception, Dos Santos stepping in.
It's been a bit sloppy from both of these sides. One really making them the dominant side.
Etsu able to carry that ball along. It goes out wide. Dos Santos, it's the best build for the Riverhounds so far. Biasi, and a header wide, sprawling effort from Danny Griffin.
And you mentioned the best passage of play for the visitors. And it starts with Etsu, the ability to up the tempo as it rotates to his left-hand side. Biasi, the ability to bring players out 1v1 and beat him, put a very dangerous ball in. Off the heels, Kiza makes that near post run. He pulls out a center back, and it's Danny Griffin just so unlucky to put it on target. For Bob Lilly, that's something you're going to be very pleased about. 9 minutes in, just a rotation, how confident your side looks going forward.
Average possession for Pittsburgh this year, just 43%. It's a team that likes to play off the ball, but when they get their surges, they look a lot like that.
when you ask anyone in USL Championship just how comfortable this team is without the ball. The ability to suffer together, but how compact they are defensively. And when they get the ball, just a glimpse there, they can be very expansive, very explosive going the other way.
Griffin with a good turn. After the missed slide tackle, he has a lot of space. Blackstock right on the touchline. And Jacoman grabs it.
And just a bit too heavy there from Danny Griffin, but it's that entry ball playing off the shoulder of Rocha and Armenakis. You can't get caught too high. You just see how smart Danny Griffin is to float in between lines. Great ball.
Williamson. Dos Santos does well to step up. Did not go out. Dos Santos does excellent to avoid the corner and keep it in and maintain possession for the visitors.
I think it's a challenge for both center midfielders on both sides. Whether Rocha, Armenakis, and Etsu and Forbes, you can't get caught too high. On the opposing sides, there's players that love to play and float in between lines to get on the half turn. Danny Griffin just did it back the other way, and then you have Tommy Williamson for Loudoun, the ability to pull players out with darting runs, and he has a little bit of extra motivation, like you mentioned, Michael. He used to play for the Riverhounds, so as a striker, you always want to put one past your former team.
Had one of the best seasons of his career with 6 goals back in 2021. Blackstock forward. Forbes. Griffin flies it out wide. Loudoun doing a good job of the pressure, forcing this back out to midfield. Here's some of the Pittsburgh fans yelling in the background. It's roughly a 3.5-hour ride, the shortest trek of the year for Pittsburgh. Bob Lilly very complimentary of his fans as this ball is a giveaway. El Medkar passes. Williamson charging. Williamson, excellent defending. Ordonez sweeps it away.
Just so good. Defending 101 from Ordonez. Just waits Williams to take that long touch, and when he does, he pounces. I think Williams makes the wrong decision in the end. He has Armenakis just hanging around the top of the 18-yard box. Again, you just see how quickly Loudoun can be going back the other way to turn their defensive efforts into attacking opportunity. You just see Armenakis barking at Williams, saying, I need this ball. Bit of frustration, comes back the other way. There's no need to come across Blackstone, facing towards the sideline. You want him to play negative. Your job is done, but now you have to deal with the very dangerous set piece.
13th minute, Pittsburgh. You take this opportunity, Canardo Forbes. He has an assist in his last 3 for the all-time leader in USL Championship history. Forbes readies. Circles it into the back post. Punched at by Jacoman. And it's a corner for Pittsburgh.
Really good save there from Jacoman. You know, there's a lot of traffic in front of him. If he comes off his line, he needs to be very decisive to make a play on this ball. So many times we see keepers try to punch it back into traffic, up and away, out for a corner kick. Better safe than sorry.
Jacoman playing against his hometown team, grew up in Pittsburgh, attended Penn. Now our official Ben Meyer will have a conversation with Kizza and Rocha. Now the whistle blows and Forbes ready for the corner. Low lining out swinger, glances through the box and eventually winds up with Dos Santos, but it goes high.
Nervy moments for Loudoun United. You never want a ball bouncing in and around your 18-yard box, let alone running across of it. Kiza does well to help it on, and then Dos Santos just awkwardly comes up on his midsection. Again, winning your individual battles on set pieces. Ask any coach, that's going to be number one on the checklist.
As we hit the quarter-hour mark here of the first half, Pittsburgh, Loudoun scoreless. Pittsburgh has scored 26 times, or 23 times rather, in the first 11 meetings between these clubs. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday here on Memorial Day weekend with Ricky Lopez-Espin, Michael Watring, and our entire crew. Enjoying our Sundays. Dos Santos is fouled. Armanakis commits his second in the last couple moments.
Yeah, needs to be careful. The number 10 for the home side. A bit of frustration starting to brew, not getting the service. You just see the way Loudoun is having a very difficult time building out of the back. Players not getting on the half turn, their body positions all wrong, not receiving the ball with open hips. But Dos Santos has been terrific for Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Yeah, it's a very dangerous play. Always when you get a boot around the head, going to go into the opposite side of you. Good to see Dos Santos on his own.
Pittsburgh has the only 2 shots of this one so far. Martin wanted his team to be more aggressive and decisive in the attacking third. Hasn't happened thus far.
I'd argue they need to get there as well. It's been very difficult. Too many sloppy turnovers, trying to play route one, going back the other way.
Kiza gets it after a pair of players bounced off of each other. Nice ball circled in, cleared away. Pittsburgh's been so tight and aggressive in possession.
Just see their center backs are in and around at half point of the field. It tells you how on the front foot they are.
There's another foul. This time it's Jeremy Garay.
This comes to the backside there. Jeremy Garay, bear hug. Probably inviting him for Thanksgiving dinner.
Might have a barbecue after this one. Unable to catch up with it, Blackstock. A goal kick coming up here. Ryan Martin said it to us earlier in the week. Thinks that his group has been their own worst enemies at times this year. Have to eliminate the unforced turnovers and defend better. And at times here in this opening half, it has been those turnovers that have allowed Pittsburgh to go on the attack, and here's one right here. And the frustration setting in for Santos.
Just a bit of a disconnect between that front line and back line for Ryan Martin's side. Whether it's Williamson or El Medikar needs to drop in and give a different look to play through lines. Everything's been route one, everything has been diagonal, and you ask any center back or defensive unit, extremely easy just to step off your line, win those headers, go back the other way. So you need to be on the ball a bit more if you're Ryan Martin, those players in the center of the park.
Pittsburgh has controlled the ball in this half of the field for a long time. And here is a foul whistled. Dangerous attempt there on the slide tackle. And this will be dangerous for the Riverhounds.
It's a great look forward from Ordonez. Trying to break lines and play centrally in this run here from Danny Griffin. Rash challenge from Sargis. Comes in and takes a lot of the trailing leg of Danny Griffin, but again, you just see the movement on the front line, pulling center back out of position. What a brilliant opportunity for the Riverhounds, about 19 yards out.
The easiest angle for a right foot, but it is Forbes. Griffin is off to his right. Indeed, it will be Forbes. Low liner. Takes a deflection. Harmon couldn't hold on to it. And Loudoun survives that little onslaught.
He likes to go for power, goalkeeper side. And if you decide to do that, you need to hit the ball so clean. Miss hits it, just goes straight into the wall. Bernardo Forbes, he knows he should do better, he could do better, he's gonna want that one back.
Third shot attempt for Pittsburgh thus far. None have required a save so far. Loudoun has yet to attempt a shot, and it has been a long time since they've gotten the ball anywhere past midfield. Loudoun looking for its build, instead a giveaway. And again, in the Riverhounds will be back on the attack. Biasi. Good dribbling, goes down. Harmon loses it. And now the counter is on for Loudoun. Can they take advantage? Red jerseys flooding forward. Armanakis can't control. Looked promising for the home side. Quickly evaporates.
So how clean can you be if you're Loudoun United? When you force a turnover, the Riverhounds want to be expansive. That leaves them very vulnerable going back the other way. It's a good look from Zane. Just an awkward ball into the chest of Armanakis, unable to bring it down. Again, if you can connect that first initial pass forward, you're going to have a lot of green grass to operate in for Loudoun United. How do you connect and get the players on the same page? That's going to be a massive key for Ryan Martin. Good ball.
Biasi plays forward for Griffin. Griffin gets into the box, but decisive tackle slows his momentum. Forbes continues on his run. Jacoman comes out. Excellent play by the 22-year-old. He's the fourth youngest keeper to start a match this season in the USL Championship.
You can just see how clever the players in the center of the field are for the Riverhounds, whether it's Danny Griffin, whether it's Bernardo Forbes. Quick movements, running off the ball, but like you said, Michael, Jacoman's been terrific in terms of his decision-making between the sticks for the home side.
Here comes Loudoun, back on the attack, through the box, and Waite comes out for the first time.
But it's a fantastic ball in from Zane. Oh, Medcar makes that near post run, he pulls out Ordonez. And then if you're Williamson, you need to get on your bike and just crash the center of the field, center of the goal, excuse me. And if you do, it's an easy tap in. Those extra efforts, we talked about Ryan Martin wanting to be more ruthless and have that killer instinct inside that 18-yard box. It's on display right there.
Another foul whistled. Medcar. Loudoun has been aggressive and physical. Loudoun find that brilliance. Scored at home in 5 of their 6 matches so far this season. Important stretch here for Loudoun, holding on to some possession.
And just get some confidence within the side and get in a rhythm once again. It also brings out players of the Riverhounds off their lines to create gaps going back. You're looking at the movement of Williamson and Armenakis. Williamson has the threat to stretch the game. Who's going to come underneath him? It's always that cat and mouse game on the front line for opposing strikers and defenders.
Pittsburgh maybe getting impatient. Does that open anything up here for Loudoun? Very nice move in the midfield. Armenakis, one-touch passing, just out of the reach of Santos, but Pittsburgh give it away, and a corner kick coming up.
Comes with help. Armenakis peels off, forcing a very dangerous set piece, and set pieces are such a brilliant way when things aren't clicking on the attacking pace for your side to nick one here in the 27th minute.
Armenakis over the top of this corner, bends it to the back post. Second ball opportunity. Laser shot caught by Waite as Zane took it. First shot attempt for Loudoun. Waite calmly controls. He's had 2 clean sheets in Open Cup play, 2 in the regular season.
And it's always the second phase that causes defenders nightmares. This ball gets cleared well. Zani does very well. Drop of the shoulder, create his own space, but fortunate enough for Jamali Waite, straight at his hands.
Jacoman has to come out and clear. Rocha finds some space for a moment, but look at all the yellow jerseys swarming.
There's no options to play through. You can change your point of attack, and that's something that Ryan Martin told us. Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they want to squeeze you towards one side. So there's going to be tons of real estate going back the other way, but you can't have this happen.
Poor giveaway. Can Pittsburgh pounce on it? Ray's still down. No whistle, however, advantage being played here. Forbes lines it up, loops one in, saved by Jacoman. And there's a foul on Harmon.
No one steps up to Conrado Forbes. Great first touch. Doesn't need a second invitation. Like you said, Jacoman, massive save once again. Doesn't take any chances, just parries it away. And then DZ Harmon just rolling over Zane. It's a foul right in front of the referee. Don't know where the argument is for the Riverhounds outside back. But again, if you're a center back for Loudoun United or a center midfielder, you need to have the ability to step off your line and engage to close down space. So talented, the middle 3 for the Riverhounds. Can shoot from distance, can beat you through combination play.
Williamson got a piece. Would certainly like to produce against his former side. There's a foul whistled on Etu. Here's a run into the box. Williamson just couldn't get that touchdown, but he was in behind the center backs.
But it's the first time he's shown the ability to stretch the game, to run off the shoulder of Ordonez and Farrell. Just so unlucky, it's a bit too heavy, the entry ball.
Biasi trying to make a quick counter here. Forbes, he's offside.
And we've talked about it, Michael, just everything has been in front of this back line of the Riverhounds. Learman has already shown the ability to pick out a pass and step into the center of the park. Williams just spins off and goes in between. You see the lack of rotation between Joey Farrell and Ordonez, just so unlucky, unable to make a play on it. But now just what that run does, it shows that they can threaten in behind. Farrell and Ordonez are gonna have the ability to step off, and that's gonna leave some gaps in front of them. So how do you play? Always playing that game, like I mentioned, cat and mouse, that give and pull relationship between the center backs and the striker.
Bob Lilly said that Williamson is one of those guys that always pesters defenders. He did so just there. Now Pittsburgh back on the front foot.
And if you're Bob Lilly, you're looking at your back three center backs, saying it needs to be better in terms of covering for each other.
Biasi has the ball deflected. Jacoman snatches it.
You can't be beaten so easily just over the top. So if Joey Farrell steps off his line, Dos Santos and Ordonez need to provide the coverage beneath them. Something that's been lacking in that certain instance. And that Loudoun almost made him pay for it.
One praise that Ryan Martin had for his side. It's such a young group. There's a tendency sometimes to point fingers, but thinks that his team has taken accountability for this 5-match skid.
It's always interesting. It's always interesting for Ryan Martin. Obviously, we talked about Loudoun of previous years, always having the ability to don't know who's going to come into training, always having to please the first team and having that microscope over you. But now, changing ownership, really has his fingerprints all over this roster. And when you bring in so many new players, you're always going to have those ups and downs, the inconsistency. Again, there's one thing that's for certain is Ryan Martin has the ability to be a great tactical coach, understanding when to get the best out of his players. And we saw how quickly they started out of the gate. Again, the amount of games in such a short amount of time within this USL Championship season. How do you adapt to that? Again, it's another brilliant opportunity to get on the right track at home. I think it's a very good Bob Lilly side.
Started off really well, 4th place, 5 points out at the end of April, but dropped 9 points in 7 slots. They're now 14 points out of first, 11th in the Eastern Conference standings. Entering play here today. Is tonight the night to get their first win in 35 days, or at least a point. Given up a couple goals in the 89th minute and on this season that have turned draws into losses. Another tight tussle going on here. Scoreless in the 34th minute. Michael Watring and Ricky Lopez-Espin hanging out with you on a Sunday evening, wrapping up play in the USL Championship. Wide switch of fields. Biasi plenty of time to measure. All the space for Blackstock. Santos trying to shut that down. Blackstock gets a corner.
There's a very good relationship on this left-hand side between Blackstock and Biasi. As Biasi comes in the center of the field, Blackstock just loops outside. It's always being on different planes when you're playing with your partnership. Come to the interior to provide the width and vice versa. So Santos has been very good at recovering his run, putting things out for a corner kick.
Forbes readies. Spikes this one very low. Loudoun wins the first ball. Second ball just heavy from Etu. Now a looping ball for numbers for 2-on-1 if they hustle. El Medkar off the counter, sends it wide. Williamson has his shot blocked. Pittsburgh able to scramble and recover off the counter. And Loudoun continue this pressure. Loudoun nearly created the best goal-scoring chance for either side in this one, but now Pittsburgh
just start to feel loud and become a bit more confident as this game keeps progressing. Having a little bit of success playing in behind the Riverhounds back line. As they drop off, that allows you to get on the ball a bit more, get in a rhythm. Last 10 to 15 minutes, if you're Ryan Martin, you have to be very pleased with just a reaction after a slow start from your side. Mentioned to us the ability to stretch the game, and I think Williamson is just a bit too casual in the end here. Slows things down, uses the momentum against himself. Joey Farrell has the ability to recover. But again, managing moments. If you're Etsu there, you don't win that first challenge, take a professional foul, pull his jersey, get a yellow card. It's better than conceding back the other way.
Yassi charging forward, Kizza. Griffin. We have a goal in this match before halftime. Long ball sent forward. Williamson has shown the ability to slide between the central backs. And it leads to a turnover. Pittsburgh take it back. As good as Pittsburgh has been this year, the road games have been a struggle. Haven't won a road game since March 18th. Granted, they beat New England in the Open Cup on May 9th, winless in their last 5 league road games. Scoreless here in the 39th minute.
And if you're Ryan Martin, you're going to be very pleased with just your defensive structure. You're sitting into mid to low block and fighting the 3 center backs to pick out a pass. It tells you 2 things, that he doesn't fancy the ability for Joey Farrell or Junior Dos Santos to pick a head up and really make a penetrating ball, and also trying to catch him in transition moments that we've seen them in a couple of instances. Been very dangerous. On the other side, if you're Bob Lilly's side, how do you beat a mid to low block? The ball needs to move very quick, and there needs to be a lot of movement on the front end to pull players out of position to open gaps for each other.
Yassi will send this one back. Wait. Armanakis. Yassi takes it away from him again. Falls to the ground. Armanakis. Elmedkar measures. Did Wait get a piece? He did, as it goes wide.
Really comes from nothing here from Armanakis. But it's off the ball movement. Elmedkar understands I need to come centrally to provide a support system. It's a great first touch, drop with the shoulder to send Canada Forbes Park packing. Just forces a good save from Way, not taking any chances. Probably going to go wide, but Better safe than sorry. Now Loudoun United have a very dangerous set piece right before halftime.
And flashes of brilliance from Loudoun in the first half. And they capitalize off of this corner kick in the 40th minute. Medkar swings it around, Waite, decisive with two hands. Waite sends this one down. Can Kizza latch on? Cannot. And it's good work there by Jeremy Garay to play it out. Roughly 5 more minutes to go in the first half. And an entertaining matchup in a series that has been dominated by Pittsburgh. Riverhounds have 7 clean sheets through the first 11 matchups with Loudoun, 10 wins and 1 loss. For the throw, a giveaway, and a foul.
Just a bit sloppy from the Riverhounds there. Haven't really gotten a groove going forward. We saw glimpses of it in the first 10 to 15 minutes, but since then, very stagnant.
Excellent touch and turn by Armanakis. Can't control.
And there's been glimpses of brilliance, individual brilliance from Armanakis. That first touch around the corner to beat Dos Santos. He tries to overcomplicate things and tries to beat another defender. He's been very good. Him and Medkar have a very good understanding of playing off one of each other.
He just sends it towards the corner flag. Jacoman. Armanakis again. Pittsburgh controlled much of the possession early. His final few moments going to Loudoun. El Medkar. It was offsides.
But he's come alive, hasn't he, in this first half tonight? On that far side, explosive, electric, the ability to beat people 1v1 and glide past them. Not a clean touch there from El Medkar to bring him in as he wanders offside. They have a lot of weapons, Loudoun United, and that's something that Bob Lilly mentioned to us. The ability to hurt you in a multitude of different ways with multiple players. This is a name. Been very good, very impressive.
What's your assessment of these two teams here in the first half?
I think if you're Riverhounds, I think Bob Lilly's going to be very frustrated how sloppy it's been. At the later part of this first half, too many mistakes have led to transition moments for Loudoun United, and that's why Loudoun's given them the best opportunity. Yes, you want to be expansive, so how clean can you be? If you're not clean, you see what happens. For Ryan Martin, just want to get on the ball just a tiny bit more. Armanakis in more advanced positions. Too many times when he gets the ball, there's a player off his backside having to do something special to relieve some of the pressure. I think if you're the Riverhounds, how do you get going again in the second half like you did in the first 5 minutes of this match is going to be Bob Lilly's message.
Good run here by Williamson. Holds it up. Options in the box. And now he draws 2 defenders and is going in the wrong direction. Trying to be clever with a touch. Instead it goes out. And a corner kick coming up for Loudoun.
And he gets himself in a pickle there. Williamson just draws himself into the corner. Dos Santos and Joey Farrell smell blood. They double down. But to be fair, Sonny Williamson does extremely well to win a corner kick.
Medcar takes quickly. This one goes over everybody and out. And there is no stoppage time in the first half. And it is Loudoun and Pittsburgh scoreless at the break here. Both sides had their moments. Pittsburgh on the front foot early. Loudoun settled in over the final 20 minutes of the first half. And it is a 0-0 tally after 45 minutes here at Segra Field. The final game of this weekend. Pittsburgh get the majority of the chances, but it is Loudoun holding on to a 0-0 tally after the opening 45 minutes here on this Sunday evening of action. Williamson on the attack at times. Fans enjoying this Sunday. And we're at the break here at Segra Field.
Business today is fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. Segra is here to help you get what's next with our best-in-class connectivity, cybersecurity, cloud, and collaboration solutions. Whatever your business dreams, we have the network and services to get you there. Segra, giving your business the freedom to grow today. Segra is a proud sponsor of the Loudoun United Football Club.
There are certain things we've come to expect in Northern Virginia. Traffic jams, tourists, cherry blossoms, and reliable power from Novec. With a 99.99% rating, Novec's reliability is among the best in the region. To keep that high service level, Novec regularly upgrades its electric system equipment with new poles, wire, and cutting-edge technology. Novec, delivering power you can count on.
Scoreless at the break here in Virginia. Loudoun and Pittsburgh knotted at 0-0 as the two sides combined for 8 shots, one apiece on target in the opening 45 minutes of play here at Segra Field. Upcoming schedule for Loudoun looks like this, as they'll have 3 of the next 4 on the road. The lone home match will be FC Tulsa, but after this one, they have to make the cross-country trek to take on Monterey Bay next weekend.
Really important stretch of games here for Ryan Martin. Obviously, going to Frank Yallop at Monterey Bay, never an easy task. And then you're welcoming FC Tulsa, playing Gavin. That team is starting to click at the right time. You're welcoming a struggling Miami FC at Birmingham. So again, if you're Ryan Martin, how can you pick up points on the road? But when you're at home, you need to pick up all 3 points. That is a must for Loudoun United.
For Pittsburgh on the other side, it is 3 of the next 4 at home in league action. In the middle of that, you have to squeeze in the Open Cup matchup on June 6th at FC Cincinnati.
And what a terrific opportunity that is for Bob Lilly to showcase yourself against MLS opposition and to go to TQL Stadium. That one is going to be popping. But then you go to Oakland Roots. That's going to be a very interesting one. And then you play a lot at home. In Highmark, we see how good the Riverhounds are at home, hostile environment, their fans behind you. So again, if you're Bob Lilly, you're looking at this stretch of games, rotation, player personnel. That's going to be massive as you keep trekking along in this 2023 season.
Today's player spotlight is Elijah Harmelick. Elijah is an incredible 9-year-old boy, an avid soccer fan and player who has a rare and serious condition which will require a major surgery next month to move an artery in his heart. His surgery will be performed by either Philadelphia CHOP or Stanford Children's Hospitals. While Elijah's family knew that he would require the surgery at some point, following Elijah's recent collapse on the soccer field during one of his recent games, it became clear that he needs the surgery now. He will undergo a 6-month recovery process after surgery. He loves soccer. Even after the collapse, he shows up to practice and games with his team. Although he can't currently play due to his heart condition, some of his teammates and family from the Potomac Soccer have joined him at Segra Field to celebrate Elijah and the contract he signed to be a Loudoun United FC player for the day. We wish Elijah the best throughout his surgery and recovery process. Scoreless here at the break between Loudoun and Pittsburgh Riverhounds. What's going on around the rest of the league? We'll answer that question when we return.
Sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way. Sometimes you feel alone, like your world is collapsing, like there's no hope. But you're not alone. Someone is there to listen, to talk, to help you up. The United Soccer League is proud to support the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, because everyone needs support.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Are you ready? Ready for more of the game you love? Ready for more players and more teams? Ready for more stadiums, for more fans in more cities? This is a different league. The USL Super League. Built for the future of women's soccer. Bridging the journey from youth to pro, connected to the global game, and bringing it all closer to home. Are you ready?
Wrapping up the weekend in USL Championship play, Loudoun and Pittsburgh Riverhounds scoreless at the break here at Segra Field. Some of the news and notes from around the USL Championship, USL Super League intending on starting in August 2024. El Paso in a great run of play, and of course, the Open Cup. Great results from Birmingham and Pittsburgh, and what a performance that was against Columbus Crew up in Pittsburgh.
Hot take, Birmingham Legion's going to beat Inter Miami and advance into the Final Four of the Open Cup. Riverhounds going to be a bit more tricky going to TQL, so I have a bit of reservation. But again, for Birmingham, playing at Protective, Tommy Sohn, the talent that he has at his disposal on that roster, MLS veterans, international veterans, I think they can take down Inter Miami.
FC Cincinnati has played so well this season, going to be a challenge for Pittsburgh on June 6th at 7 Eastern. Scores from the weekend of note. Detroit gets a win 1-0 over Birmingham. Lou City wins Tampa wins, Charleston wins. The top 3 in the East all get victories over the weekend.
Miami FC welcoming a struggling Orange County. 1 shot on target in that match. So that's going to be a bit interesting to see the reactions for both managers and both teams coming in the next game day. And then San Antonio, reigning champions, taking care of New Mexico United at home.
Upcoming in the USL Championship, Wednesday night, Monterey Bay and FC Tulsa. FC Tulsa will try to get a midweek win for the 2nd week in a row. Great matchup, Charleston and Indy 11. Pittsburgh and Phoenix next Saturday.
And then you have Colorado Springs Switchbacks hosting the Oakland Roots, and what a win that was for Nel Delgado, taking down San Diego Loyal at home. And then you mentioned that Pittsburgh welcoming Phoenix Rising. What's that reaction look like? Phoenix Rising handing Las Vegas their first win in the USL Championship season, so you know Juan Guerra is going to want a reaction from his boys.
First win for Vegas in 231 days yesterday. As we get ready for the second half, we'll come back with the first half highlights, stats, and the second half kick. Scoreless at the break between Loudoun and Pittsburgh.
Business today is fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. Segra is here to help you get what's next with our best-in-class connectivity, cybersecurity, cloud, and collaboration solutions. Whatever your business dreams, we have the network and services to get you there. Segra, giving your business the freedom to grow today. Segra is a proud sponsor of the Loudoun United Football Club.
Highlights from the first half of Loudoun and Pittsburgh. No score, but early in this match, there was a good opportunity. A nice cross from Biasi, and Griffin latched onto it, just went wide.
Yeah, just a difficult technique. As he lays out for it, tries to get in front of Sargis, and it just goes wide, but you just see the run from Kidza. He pulls out a center back, and that opens up the gap for Danny Griffin.
Off of a free kick, Jacoman with a good play, coming off of his line on the back post send from Forbes. There were a couple early opportunities for Pittsburgh, and then in the 23rd minute, yet again, the Riverhounds on the charge. Blackstock and company sending the ball around. Forbes chipping it in, continued along his run, but Jacoman decisive.
And he's been very good between the sticks. The ability to step off his line and make a play on the ball, you can just see takes out Kidza in the process. But save after save from this young man, and set pieces for Loudoun United were very good. Zane, great first touch, drop of the shoulder, but straight at Jamali Waite, and a simple save for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds goalkeeper.
Only 3 shots in the opening half for Loudoun. They had some opportunities that didn't go down as shots, but possession ended up 50-50. Pittsburgh controlled the majority of the opening part of the match. How did one of these sides find a way to get a goal in the second half?
And I think if you're Loudoun, the ability to play in behind with the runs of Williamson, we saw him make maybe 2 or 3 and have a lot of success doing it. It was a bit nervy in terms of rotation from the back three, but then for Pittsburgh, get numbers in around that 18-yard box, have a combination play. We saw glimpses of it, but not enough from Bob Lilley. So the first 10 to 15 minutes, who's going to be the more dominant side and impose their identity? I think it's going to be the winner of this match.
Those first half stats presented by Betfred, as we're just about ready to kick off half number 2 to wrap up this weekend in the USL Championship. Michael Watring, Ricky Lopez-Espin, our entire crew. Hope you come in and stay a while for the rest of the second half. Here from Segra Field in Leesburg, Virginia. These two sides trying to flip the script, or Loudoun rather trying to flip the script. It is Pittsburgh trying to continue on its script. Pittsburgh has been unbeaten in its last 8 against the Eastern Conference, 13 of the last 14. But they only have 2 wins during that 8-match string, 6 ties over that window, and it's Loudoun to start off the second half. Couple changes, one for each side. Robbie Mertz comes in, and DZ Harmon comes out for the Riverhounds. And Abdul Kawanda comes in for Hayden Sargis for Loudoun.
Entering the match, number 3, Hayden Sargis. Entering the match, number 8, Abdul Kawanda.
And you bring Robbie Mertz in for Bob Lilley's side, so now you have 4 game changers in the center of the field. So you're going to overload center channels, move the ball very quick, and have the combination play. Robbie Mertz, what a massive pickup for Bob Lilley's side. The ability to just create goals and assists. And then Kawanda, how quickly can he make himself acclimated to this game? He's going to sit in that back line, so stay compact. Once you connect your first couple passes, then you have the ability to get yourself advanced into that final third and express yourself with the motor that he has on the right-hand side.
Substitutions brought to you by Segra. There's a giveaway in the middle of the field. Etu did well to maintain his balance. Now a card will be given for the first time. El Medkar gets shown the first yellow of the day.
Just gets caught in the turf there. Learman trying to play it in a 2, just so good defensively. But it's this touch right here that puts El Medkar in a very tricky situation, because he needs to make a play on it, and he feels any sort of contact. And 2 was going to hold up, draw the yellow card. So now El Medkar on a yellow card. What does it look like in terms of his positioning and his decision making in terms of what challenges he goes into?
Pittsburgh playing without the services of Albert Dikwa, the leading goal scorer in the USL Championship this season. 6 goals in his last 8 appearances. And Pittsburgh has had some moments with encouraging signs on the attack, but certainly without him in the lineup, it's been noticeable.
We talked about opportunity. Kiza, the ability to step up and really carry that weight that Dikwa has been able to run with throughout this season. When you get those 2 going, if you're Bob Lilley, that's a different animal going forward. Dikwa and Kiza, ability to invite pressure, bring players in, soft feet, but also the size just to stretch the game. A very dynamic duo as the 2023 season chugs along.
Williamson lets Kawanda take this ball. Armanakis. Washington. Zane. All the way across the field. Result's not terrible for Loudoun. Armanakis. Excellent ball out wide. Kawanda. First ball deflected. Weight comes out. He doesn't get a piece, doesn't get a foul either, and very fortunate that Loudoun didn't latch on. And a foul whistled here. Like Kizza got popped in his backside. Bob Lilly said Kizza handled a lot of that attacking prowess when Pequot was out in the preseason.
Just see Learman step off his line. Watch out, the extension of the right elbow. Could have seen himself going to the book there. That's what Kizza does. Just tears you down. Always busy, always challenging center backs and making their life very difficult. So something to keep an eye out on is just that nice little matchup between the back line of Loudoun and Kizza.
Griffin wanted a foul, didn't get a call. Now Medcar on the charge, Williamson. Oh, wait, had time to get to that ball. Now it's Pittsburgh giving the ball away carelessly in the midfield. Curled around, and that's the second time in this half that Zane has just blasted a ball over Williamson. Jacoman has to take a ricochet off of a Riverhound. Either side valuing the ball very much right now. Forbes flicks. Griffin cycles. Goes to Jacoman.
Much like this first half. First 6 minutes of the second half, just pinballing back and forth. Changing possession, you want someone to put their foot on it. Take the wind out of each other's sail, get them confidence within the side. Want to take care of the ball and get it. Test the shape of the opposition. So far, it's been very back and forth in the second half.
52nd minute, looking for a goal. Pittsburgh is almost unstoppable when they score. They're unbeaten this year when they score at least one goal. 4 wins, 4 draws. All 4 of their wins this season have come when scoring multiple. Goalkeepers have been much more active in the second half, mostly because the opponent has just blasted the ball in their direction. Pittsburgh now starting to bring that press. Loudoun getting caught in the corner, and it does lead to a giveaway, and Griffin just couldn't get a piece. Kawanda. No foul, Blackstock clean. And there is a foul. Slipshod start to the second half. Loudoun making a change. Jackson Hopkins is coming in, and Armenakis will be replaced. Hopkins, 19 years of age, on loan from DC United. 5 appearances in the MLS this season.
Number 10, Manos Armenakis. Entering the match, number 12.
Solid showing for Armenakis. You saw the quality. You see the quality is there. The ability to be very technical in tight spaces. Again, the only thing that's been lacking, if you ask Ryan Martin, is just that end product. 1 goal, 1 assist on the season for the young man through 11 games. So you expect more from him in that terms, but talent never in question.
Wade handles his box well. 24-year-old out of Philadelphia. Got the call up with Jamaica earlier this season, representing that country. Very good header by Forbes. Biasi. He goes down, but it's a clean win. Now Williamson making the sprint. Wade had to get that one right.
Just takes a bit too long there. Biasi does the hard part to elude his defender. Then you have the ongoing runs of Kiza. Robbie Mertz coming centrally. You get your pocket picked, and then you see what Loudoun's trying to do, trying to turn their defensive efforts into attacking opportunities, playing direct and do it very fast.
Washington well with his body to stay in front of Kiza. Well, Washington played his collegiate soccer at Pittsburgh after starting at Rutgers. Touched by Mertz. Mertz set up Dikwa's game winner against Columbus. Does he have a similar impact off the bench?
Such a smart play for Bob Lilly. Just watch him, his movement, the spaces that he picks up, obviously the technical ability to pick out a pass, decision making. He's one of the best in USL Championship. I'd argue with anyone. You combine him with the Danny Griffin, Bernardo Forbes, show me a better threesome in the center of the park. So players have a very good understanding of the balance. And as Bernardo Forbes draws his foul, it's just on display right here, the ability to stretch the game from a deep line position, take the contact from Washington. It's a rash challenge. Firstly, he goes on with the wrong foot, goes with his left foot, probably a better angle to get more of the ball. Now a very dangerous set piece for the Riverhounds.
Pittsburgh will make a couple changes. As Mark Ibarra, Tola Shoami coming in, Blackstock coming out, as well as Etu.
Blackstock and number 8, Junior Etu. Entering the match, number 23, Mark Ibarra, and number 24, Tola Shoami.
You play as frequently as Pittsburgh has, you have to rely on that bench. And the talent and depth continue to be on display. Younger players on the roster for the Riverhounds. And now Forbes plays it short. Mertz goes wide. And it gets cycled all the way across for a clean header, and it goes out. You could see the clever play there. They were able to get the header one, as Loudoun had to spend a lot of attention and focus along this side.
And that's straight out the training ground, trying to draw out the center backs to that near post and pop it back just up and over the bar. Again, you have Edward Kizet and Shawonmi on the front line. So their relationship, as one drops deep, one has the ability to stretch the game. It's going to be a big challenge for Loudoun United in terms of their rotations or coverage. As one steps, the other three need to pinch in behind.
Turnovers have been the name of the game in the second half. Pittsburgh now goes quick. Show on me. Bodies collide, going down hard. As Hopkins would just come on the pitch. And right into the collision with Mertz. We wind over the 60-minute mark. Michael Watrang, Ricky Lopez, Espin, our entire crew, delighted to have you on board. 30 more minutes to go. Can one of these two sides get a goal? Ball a little errant. Jacoman. Been impressed with that 22-year-old from Pittsburgh. His command of the net. There's been some really good young keepers in the league this season.
And just not clean enough for both of these sides. This time it's Santos that invites the pressure, tries to go long, gives the time and space for Shawonmi and Robbie Mertz to double down. On the other side, it's Danny Griffin trying to put a ball over 30 yards into the path of Robbie Mertz. Just play simple, and have more success playing through lines. And I think that's something that if you ask Ryan Martin and Bob Lilly, they don't want to go back to making those short passes and playing simple. Your first look is usually the most efficient one. Don't try to overcomplicate things.
Rocha. This is pass deflected by Shawonmi. Wade was yelling, headed to me, and it goes right to him. Pittsburgh very stingy. Just 11 goals allowed this year, the third fewest in the league. Best mark in the Eastern Conference.
Hard challenge there. Comes in with a head full of steam.
Always gotta love when you gotta move the ball back about 14 centimeters.
The ones you just look at the fourth and just say, really, come on.
Handball. I'll go back to Loudoun. 64th minute of play. Loudoun started the year 3-2-1. They've dropped their last 5. Is tonight the night they get back on the right track? Williamson the target, but Ibarra slides in to head the ball away.
And it's an interesting look for Loudoun United. Jackson Hopkins is going to stay high next to Tommy Williams. The way that football has evolved, it's usually just a lone striker having to deal with the 3 center backs, but now it's going to be a 2v3 for Loudoun United. So it gives you more looks going forward, but also for Pittsburgh, you always have to have a +1, so you don't want to have any of your 3 center backs drifting into that middle third to leave you vulnerable. Back the other way.
Kawanda does well. He thought it was clean, and indeed it was. There was a foul on Mertz.
Once again, 14 centimeters back. But he's been bright since coming on. His motor, his energy has been infectious throughout his side. You can see Roshan arguing as well. Every inch counts, Michael.
It does. This game has proven that. Foul whistled again. Get the tape measure out, make sure we're in the right spot. Hopkins flies this ball in. Mertz wins cleanly. Hopkins fouled.
It's been so choppy in this second half. No real flow to either side.
Excellent turn by Elmedkar. Williamson trying to do the same. Elmedkar circles and skies.
Yeah, it would have been a very harsh PK call there for Williamson. He does very well to hold off Dos Santos, but it all comes to about this move from Elmedkar, the ability to create his own space, but he doesn't give up on the play. He continues his run. Understands it's going to be a second ball, a second action here. There's no foul there. Dos Santos gets through on the ball as it pops out. Such a difficult technique. There's traffic closing down the space. You're running opposite of the goal to get your hips and shoulders and head down around the ball. That's why you see it go up and over. Probably the best play going forward for Loudoun United in the second half.
There's a through ball that Jacoman will handle. Well, the first half did have a good tempo and pace between the two sides. Pittsburgh showcasing the passing in the first 30 minutes or so. Loudoun controlled the final 15 minutes much better. But it almost feels like the second half has the feel of a first half. Both sides feeling each other out, and we're 21 minutes in. Pittsburgh bringing number forward now. Here's a cross coming in. Jacoman punches. His teammate got in the way, but he was able to get enough. Not out of trouble yet. Ibarra. Jacoman again. Juggles and cleared. Showing me does well. Ibarra decides to lay back. Forbes. Fine scrambling defending. Washington doing the majority of that for Loudoun.
Pittsburgh knocking on the door in that instance. I've been so impressed with just the decisiveness from Jacoman when he comes off his line, makes contact on the ball, puts it away from pressure. He knows he's going to take contact, no question about it, but he's been fantastic for Ryan Martin and Loudoun United.
These two sides have never drawn. 10 wins for Pittsburgh, 1 for Loudoun. Mertz, excellent touch, good pivot. Gets into the box. Mertz flies it in. Cleared away. Washington again stepping up.
Robbie Mertz is just such a smart player. The way he uses his body, gets on the wrong side of Santos, but as he tries to knock this thing across the mouth of the goal, such a good defensive positioning there from Washington. It's so important to make that near post run. It does two things for a striker. One, it gets you in. Great ball again.
Another good ball in. Really making that run through the middle. This has been the target.
With that run, we keep talking about it. It pulls out a center back. One, if not, you get an easy tap in. That man stayed like for like with Kizza to deny the opening goal. On the secondary action, The ball comes through and Forbes just holds up. If he makes an extra 10 or 5 yards, excuse me, it's a 1v1 between him and Jacoman. You just see the quality that Robbie Mertz possesses on that left flank.
Ordonez. Kawanda doesn't get that header right and concedes a corner. That seemed very harmless at first, and Kawanda just couldn't control.
Fans, for your chance to receive autographs from
As Pittsburgh cash in. Here's we wind. The 70th minute mark.
Section 107 after the match.
Mertz adjusts his socks. Eyes wide open here as in the 71st minute. Play short. Readjusts. On the back post, Forbes somehow stays out.
We've talked about the secondary phase of set pieces are just so important, so dangerous. Puts a lot of pressure on the shape of the defensive back unit. Washington gets caught ball watching into the interior. Connor Forbes just gets it all wrong. Tries to go for a goal, opens up his hips and tries to go with the inside of his foot. I think if he laces this thing just at the mouth of the goal, who knows what happens. Riverhounds get away with one, excuse me, Loudoun gets away with one.
Is that a sign of things to come over the next 20 minutes? As these two sides look for the game-changing goal. Mertz, it's so dangerous since entering. All the way to the back post, Jacoman. Again, strong with two hands. Zane now on the charge on the counter.
Once again, it's a wrong decision there from Williamson.
But he gets it back from Griffin. Very nice pass. El Medkar waiting. Perhaps too patient from Loudoun.
Those are the moments that you want to be more decisive and more ruthless. It's something that Ryan Martin challenged his boys approaching this match. As Zane gets away from his defenders, he's asking for Williamson to run in behind to stretch the game.
Zane, El Medkar. Williamson the first touch, Hopkins the second. Neither can settle it down enough. That missing piece has been the key of this night for Loudoun.
It just seems like Williamson mistimes his jump, doesn't able to get on it. That throws off Hopkins. It's a bit out of reach. Again, you start to see the two striker pairing committing more numbers in around that 18-yard box, putting more pressure and testing the shape of the Riverhounds back line.
We're in for an exciting finish. Both sides starting to get some opportunities. Zane does well. Kizza runs into space. Forbes missed. Show on me. Kawanda called for a foul. He's made a couple mistakes on that side now. The 18-year-old from the Ivory Coast.
Just no need. As his ball comes through the 18-yard box, Robbie Mertz gets there before him. He puts his body in between. You go rash, you go through the backside. Robbie Mertz is facing towards the sideline. There's no help. Just move your feet, make him play negative. Your job is done. But as you try to make a play on the ball, Robbie Mertz, with the experience that he has, will always going to go down. And now, once again, set piece is so important, so dangerous for the Riverhounds.
Had a couple great training plays. exercised here today. Mertz goes direct into the box this time. Doesn't hit it high enough. Second balls have been dangerous for the Riverhounds. Ibarra. Out of trouble yet. On this pass, sends Sané back. And a giveaway. Excellent passing. Show on me. Back post header! Too high this time around. Mertz on the receiving end, but too heavy.
But you just see how clever and how good the Riverhounds can be with quick one-passing plays. Shawonmi has been terrific since coming in as everyone's crashing towards that near post. Let me just pop it up to that far post. Robbie Mertz makes that trailing run. Give credit to Medcar, just throws him off just enough to put it up and over the bar. You can see the frustration on the substitute's face. He's gonna want this one back. How good was that build-up for the Riverhounds? Quick passing around the corner. Shawonmi has been at the thick of everything going forward.
Pittsburgh and Loudoun scoreless here in the 76th minute. With Ricky Lopez, Espin on Michael Watrang. Jacoman in no man's land. That was nearly a major disaster.
And as I'm talking about how decisive he's been, commentator's curse there. Fortunate enough for him. Santos does very well to put out any sort of fire.
It was almost catastrophic. He was in no man's land, and if Pittsburgh could have gotten control, they had a gaping open goal net. Ibarra. Good first touch from Kizza. Well, as stingy as Pittsburgh has been this year, with the third fewest goals allowed in the league, they have given up 4 in the final 10 minutes of games. Can you see this one through, or does Loudoun spark the attack?
Great ball.
Show on me. Just can't hold on to it long enough. Learman hustles to force the corner.
He's been very good, Learman. Back three, in fact, for Loudoun United. Ability to read the play, cover for one each other.
This ball comes into Ibarra, plays it to the point. Shot attempt, ripples the rope from Ordonez. Pittsburgh strikes and has a 1-0 lead.
But how clever is this? Set pieces, set pieces, set pieces. Bernardo Forbes picks up his head and realizes Loudoun United is just not set up. Let me go quick into the path of Ibarra. Great first touch from the center back, and what a quality finish that is. As this back line is retreating towards the goal line, Ordonez gets there right before the Loudoun players composed and just roops this thing into that top corner, off to the corner. The Riverhounds have their goal in the 78th minute.
Ordonez had scored 1 goal for Pittsburgh prior to last week. He has now scored in back-to-back regular season matches.
We talk about recognition and managing moments. Bernardo Forbes probably won't get an assist on this one, but he should. The ability to up the tempo, to go quick. If you're Ryan Martin, you talk about defensive lapses, turning off mentally, losing your individual marks. And no difference there, so that's going to be a frustrating goal to concede, especially on a set piece.
Loudoun made a couple changes in that last pass. Wesley Leggett and Juan Ramirez enter. El Medcar and Garay are out. Those substitutions brought to you by Segra.
Once again, for this Loudoun side, you go down 1-0, approaching 11 plus minutes left. What does this reaction look like? The character to dig within as Sweatsuit comes in for Kizza. An uphill challenge now for the home side to show a bit of fight and character to come together and deal with this adversity.
Pittsburgh making a change as well. Trevor Sweatsuit enters, and Edward Kizza is out. Making the turn immediately is Leggett. Hopkins gives it away. Loudoun has lost all 6 matches this season when they concede first. And they failed to win in their last 16 when giving up the first goal. Fifth time this season, Loudoun has given up a goal in the final quarter hour. As we wind into the first minute now. Loudoun respond 10 minutes away from seeing a 6th consecutive loss. Down 1-0 against a Pittsburgh team that has not dropped a match in 36 days.
Be very interesting to see the Riverhounds, how they approach the end of this match. Do they stay on the front foot? Do they go for that second goal, try to put this game to bed, or do they just sit back into their defensive shell? Anything you know about Bob Lilley, he's going to want to get that second goal. He's want to be expansive and play attack-minded football. You have to do it with having the balance of defense first. Now, you get your goal. You want to be very difficult to break down, especially on the road. And Loudoun's going to want to overcommit, throw numbers into that attacking third. So what's that going to do? It's going to leave them very vulnerable going back the other way. So how clean and crisp can you be?
Five shots in the match for Loudoun. 2 have come here in the second half. Can they get something going in the attack? This ball played out wide. Zane sends it in. Decent ball, but cleared away by Dos Santos. Wind picking up here at Segra Field.
Just missing someone to play in between lines for Loudoun United. That front line is staying very high and occupying the center backs. But just no one playing off the shoulder of Sweat Sloop and a Danny Griffin to make them constantly peek over. If you get the ball in the half turn, it causes all sorts of problems for the Riverhounds back line. And also just gives you the ability to create overloads and draw out a center back.
Just as they get a turnover, Pittsburgh promptly right back to its defensive shell. Zane, been a busy man on this left channel. Rocha. Show on me.
Once again,
Thing Learman, but not enough.
Once again, you take a look at the screen. There's no one playing off the shoulder in these parts of the field. It's your center forward, Williamson, dropping deep. You want him to stay high. That pins back a center back, and then it has to come from Ramirez and Leggett or Hopkins playing in those half spaces. It's always that balance. Yes, as a center forward, you don't see much of the ball. So by tendencies, you want to drop in and be an outlet, but actually does the opposite in terms of success. That clogs the space, and then when you get on the ball, you want to be expansive. You want to stay high. You want to be wide to open up gaps.
Mike DeShields is coming in. Kennardo Forbes is going out, so his 3-match string of assists will come to an end, but his team leads at 1-0. Substitution brought to you by Segra.
Yeah, defensively. Now, DeShields going to play on this right-hand side. Tells you that Bob Willey's trying to set up shop and see this game out. DeShields actually drafted by DC United. Spent some time with Loudoun, so it's a nice little homecoming for the defender.
The yellow card shown to Luke Biasi.
This gets caught in no man's lane here, Biasi. Missed time challenge for Mears, gets there before him. Sees yellow.
Ball sent into the box. Waite stays back on it. And a corner coming up for Loudoun. Time not a friend of the home group. Pittsburgh looking to win an 11th out of 12 meetings against Loudoun. Hopkins will be the one to take it. Very low ball in, not the best entry. They'll get another crack at it. Go short this time around. Zane. Kawanda. Williamson was waiting for, trying to tee it up. Excellent pass. Hopkins. Sprawling header clear. Show on me. Looked like it hit his hand, and indeed, that will be the whistle. Loudoun will have a chance for another set piece.
You're looking for quality here from Hopkins. You're aiming for right between that penalty mark and 18-yard box. It caused chaos within the back line of the Riverhounds.
Bends to the back post. That was won aerially by Leggett. More minutes. We get into stoppage time. Loudoun have only scored 4 second-half goals all year. Need one here to at least try to pull level. Mertz, not a piece of it. Jacoman. Pittsburgh more than content with watching Loudoun play catch.
Got up to tempo. You're down 1-0 at home with 2 minutes left. You don't want to be dilly-dallying with it in your defensive half, especially 20 yards out of your goal. Pump the ball forward, cause chaos, put pressure for the Riverhounds.
This has been 20 seconds plus now. yet to get close to midfield, and they just give it away.
Exactly what Ryan Martin's talking about, managing moments, mental lapses, decision making. There's no need to connect, to play 10 passes on top of your 18-yard box. Now you give the Riverhounds the ability to do just this, put the ball in the corner, lead some clock.
Goal kick, Hopkins does well. And now a little bit of urgency from Loudoun. They needed it a minute ago. Instead, we'll get a substitution first. Daniel Chica coming in and Giannis Learman coming out here in the 90th minute.
Giannis Learman. Entering the match, number 20, Daniel Chica. All
Substitutions brought to you by Segra.
The fourth official is indicated to be
2 minutes of stoppage time.
stoppage time added to the end of the match.
Loudoun in the last 90 seconds
Delivering power.
not been able to do anything moving forward. They've been far too passive. Zane. And yet again, we have to worry about the exact location of the ball. This ball flicked forward. Williamson can't latch on. Farrell won that opening ball. Shounmi doing his job, what you want from an attacker. Draw the foul, waste time.
Just so good since coming on. Shounmi to invite pressure, to hold players off, and obviously let this play develop. The patient to let players, the supporting cast underneath him. At the moment, the Riverhounds, the clock is your best friend. Takes out precious time. I thought Bob Lilly's substitutions have really changed this game. You bring in Ibarra to get the assist, and Robbie Mertz, Shounmi, just top class, raising the level, energy, quality, and that's what you want. All you can ask for substitutions.
So a free kick coming, and everybody is going to have to come up now. Likely the last touch of this match with Loudoun behind 1-0. And staring a 6-match losing skid right in the eyes is the goalkeeper, Dane Jacoman, has come all the way forward now. He's 6'3". Zane will serve it in. Can he give his team a chance here? Zane strikes it, decent ball in, and it's headed away. There's your final whistle. And the excellent run of form for Pittsburgh continues. 8 consecutive matches unbeaten in all competitions. 9 in a row against the Eastern Conference and a 1-0 victory on the road.
The worry for the Riverhounds is going to be the reaction after going on such a high in U.S. Open Cup. You come into Loudoun United, very tricky matchup. Bob Lilly paying his respects to the quality on the front end for Loudoun United, but you get a clean sheet on the road, always gives you an opportunity. Set pieces were the difference, and if you're Bob Lilly, you have to be very pleased with how your boys' performance in a mature manner approaching this match.
Time for our save of the match, brought to you by Segra. And it was a very fine match from Dane Jacoman all afternoon long. And he made several saves. This one on Conardo Forbes punches it away to keep Pittsburgh off the board in the first half.
And he was massive, save after save, keeping Loudoun United in this game. Big time save to parry it away because Conardo Forbes hits it very clean.
Jacoman closes out the match with a save, but Pittsburgh takes the 3 points. 1-0, your final score presented by Segra. When we come back, we will have the highlights and the full-time stats to wrap things up from Leesburg, Virginia, here when we come back in a moment. Pittsburgh continues its climb up the charts and stays in second place in the Eastern Conference, taking down Loudoun 1-0. Back on the postgame show presented by Segra with Ricky Lopez-Espin, Michael Watring, as we get to the full-time highlights from this matchup between Loudoun and Pittsburgh for the 12th time. 72nd minute. This was Zane firing one in. El Medkar chipping it along. This was the best chance for Loudoun of the night.
Yeah, just so unlucky there. It's Williamson that just mistimes his jump, and that throws off Jackson Hopkins. You see that first touch, just gets a bit away from him, and Wade comes off his line to caress it.
This was Pittsburgh at its finest, taking advantage of Loudoun's side, unorganized, and Arturo Ordonez spikes one into the net.
And Ryan Martin's going to be very frustrated. It comes from a set piece, just lapse of focus. Everyone turns off. Conrad Forbes does not, Ibarra does not, and that man certainly does not as well. Great first touch for the center back and just puts it into the top corner. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds get their goal.
In the 87th minute, Loudoun one opportunity. They actually won the ball in the air from Wesley Leggett, but he's unable to put it down. Loudoun had a couple chances in the second half, never could find the back of the net. Not a lot of shots on target in this match, but Pittsburgh gets the one that counts on Ordonez's second goal in as many weeks.
And it was always going to be tricky for the Riverhounds. We talked about their success in the Open Cup. So what was the reaction on the weekend going to be? But you come into this game, you sit back, you absorb a lot of pressure, especially later in that first half, and then you get your goal, and the game completely changes. Loudoun has to throw numbers forward, so it leaves transition moments over, but Ryan Martin needs to fix things in the attacking third. Got into good paces, but the only thing that's been lacking was the quality and the execution. Bob Lilly, you get your goal, and that's all you can ask for. Clean sheet on the road always gives you an opportunity, and it's a well-deserved 3 points for the Riverhounds.
Pittsburgh wins a 5th straight against Loudoun, while Loudoun loses for the 6th consecutive match. Riverhounds continue along their form. 8 consecutive matches unbeaten for Pittsburgh as they continue their strong stretch run. The final score presented by Segra is Pittsburgh 1 and Loudoun 0 to wrap up the weekend in USL Championship play. For my partner, Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Michael Watring and our entire crew. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.